Hey everyone, and welcome to the Mark Prater podcast, where our aim is to connect our global family of Sovereign Grace churches with our executive director. Mark, on the last episode, we talked about the global leaders retreat in Sydney, Australia, that you're heading to soon. But you are going to be staying beyond that global leaders retreat for another retreat. Talk to us about that.
We are. The leadership team retreat will happen after the global leaders retreat. This is sort of our schedule and our thinking in doing that. We're gathering global leaders there in Sydney, which the leadership team and I can't wait to be with them. And that'll end on, I believe, Saturday or Friday. I can't remember, Friday or Saturday. Then that weekend, the leadership team will spend um, time with both churches. We're going to do a combined service on Sunday
Hmm.
with both churches there in Sydney, Walrunga and Parramatta. And then on Monday, the leadership team is staying, as you mentioned, Ben, and we are doing a retreat from Monday through Wednesday. Not all the guys on the leadership team will be there. It'll be myself, Jeff Purswell, John Payne, Jared Mellinger, and of course Dave Taylor, who lives in Sydney. And we
Yeah.
decided to do it this way because we need a leadership team retreat, which we always have in June. And we thought, Dave always comes to us.
Yeah.
We're there. Let's just stay, and we're going to him. So we hope it does serve our brother and our friend Dave Taylor. But we're really looking forward to the time that we have together. Just a reminder why we do these retreats. First of all, we're all those names I mentioned were spread out geographically, except for Jared and I are here at Covenant Fellowship. But all the rest of the guys on the team, we're just spread out geographically. So just to be together and continue to build relationally as a team. And then we choose topics that are either in the category of these are going to be longer strategic conversations or are timely as we map out the rest of this year and the first part of 2027. And that's what's on the agenda. I've been working on it and I can't wait to be with the guys on the leadership team during retreat. Again, that'll be June 15th through the 18th. So we would really appreciate your prayers for us during that time.
Well, like you said, you're working on your agenda. I imagine it will be the kind of agenda you typically bring to the leadership team retreat, one that could never possibly be completely fulfilled.
That's
Uh,
right.
and, and in this ambitious agenda that you're developing, what's the plan? What will you guys be spending time talking about and praying about together?
Yeah, we got a number of things on the agenda. We'll do a debrief from our time with the global leaders because we'll learn things from them that will help us in leading Sovereign Grace as a global family of churches. But we've got a number of other things planned. We've got some global issues that we want to kick around. One example would be we've at least defined or established in our thinking as a leadership team as a part of our strategic plan to expand globally, establishing strategic global centers outside the United States. So those would be
Hmm.
right now that we see in Juarez, Mexico, in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, in Manila, Philippines, and in Sydney, Australia. And those are places where theological training for pastors can occur or is occurring, where conferences and retreats can be held, where it can be a base for church planting in
Hmm.
that part of the world and other global missions, and is where one of our global leaders is based. And so we want to talk about a 10-year plan for our strategic centers. And that will be a longer, I think, good strategic conversation. Those centers I just mentioned may not, there may be other centers that are added to that in the future. We don't know how God's going to grow us if he does, but those are the ones we've identified. So that's going to be a really, I think, important conversation. I mentioned last year the Council of Elders, a plan that we have in place to certify global pastors' colleges who want to be
Right.
called Sovereign Grace Pastors' Colleges. We'll be getting an update on that. We're also going to discuss some standards we want to put in place for the money we give from our development funds to our global partners, just to kind of strengthen what we've got there already. We've already got a number of guidelines that we want them to follow, but there's certain standards we're thinking about. as it relates to the giving of money that people give to Sovereign Grace so sacrificially. I'm also going to give a brief update on my time with the Mexico leadership team, which was wonderful, by the way. So those are kind of some of the categories under global. We're also going to kick around. This will be just a more of a philosophical, at least it'll start philosophical, just a conversation about our council as a leadership team to our regional leaders and to elderships and churches in our region. How effective are we? And how can we grow? Can we just be even more effective in serving them with our input and counsel? I'm going to bring a plan for the February 2027 leadership team and regional leader retreat. That's become an annual event for us where the leadership team invites all the U.S. regional leaders along with our non-leadership team directors. So people like Joel Shorey, Director of Church Planning, Bob Coughlin, Director of Sovereign Grace Music, Eric Trebetsky, Director of West Coast Development, Jim Donahue, newly named the Director of Evangelism, Walt Alexander, Director of Leadership Development. And we've got Ricky Alcantar on that list. Josh Blunt will be there. Probably Brian Chesmore. Brian will be there. So we sort of expanded it because we found that retreat is really important in setting really leadership tone for the year. So I'll be bringing a plan for that as it relates specifically to how we want to use our time with the regional leaders and directors. And then we've got a lot of work to do regarding the pastors conference. We've got a good plan in place for this year, but we've got some decisions to make there. We'll begin planning the 2027 conference, believe it or not. We've got to work that far ahead and maybe kick around some thoughts and ideas related to the 2028 conference. We do think about that and talk about that far ahead. So you can pray for us regarding that as well. I'll be bringing a plan for the Council of Elders meeting, which is a reminder to our guys that will be a virtual elders meeting this year. I believe it's on October 30th. I think it's like 6 to 9 Eastern time in the evening. So just a number of things to get ready for that we'll be talking about. And we're doing it that way because of the Pastors and Leaders Conference this year, so that pastors who are Council of Elder delegates can travel with the leaders they bring with them. And then just a reminder to the guys on the Council of Elders, we'll do the vote for the executive director during the conference. Actually, it's going to be on Thursday. Conference starts Wednesday night. The vote will be Thursday afternoon between 3 and 4 p.m. In a special Council of Elders meeting that's already been approved. We got Jared doing a publishing update. And then I'm going to give the guys an update on our fundraising efforts, some new thoughts I've been kicking around as we look to develop even more what I call gospel patrons in Sovereign Grace. One other one that I'm really looking forward to, which is a strategic conversation. We often talk about our strategic expansion outside the United States. And we want to have a specific conversation about our strategic expansion and development in the United States. And we've taken sort of a step in that direction with Eric being the director of West Coast Development. And Eric's doing a wonderful job. He's actually just producing a lot of good fruit. So the question is, should we have that kind of role or person in other parts of the country? If so, where would that be? So I'm really looking forward to that. I've asked Jeff to give a sort of a current theological and evangelical update on trends that he's seeing. And that's always a highlight, at least for me. And I think all the guys on leadership team. So that's a little bit, it's not all of it. It's an ambitious agenda. We've got more. We never always get all the way through it, but that's what we've got planned. And we really, again, would appreciate your prayers.
Excellent. Well, thanks for all your hard work. And thank you to the leadership team, all the guys that are heading out to Sydney to serve us as you guys spend unhurried time discussing and praying together. Mark, is this your last leadership team retreat before the vote in November? Or do you have another one?
We have one in September. Yeah, that'll be my last one before the vote.
All right. Well, the clock continues to tick.
It does.
But in the meantime, thank you, Mark. And thanks for the update. Thank you all for checking out the podcast. And we'll see you here next week, Lord willing. Bye for now.
Thank you for watching. If you have questions or comments, Mark would love to hear from you. For more videos like this, hit subscribe on YouTube or by email at markkprater.com.